Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet Rayne, and today my guest is Daniel Jackson. He's known as a spiritual medium. He published his first book based on his journey of becoming a spiritual medium. The book covers his story in chronological order, situational events from the age of 3 until present day. Included in the book are channeled messages from his guides, the archangels. And these messages are what God wants us to know. So welcome, Daniel, to the show. So glad to have you on here.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So, one of the topics that you wanted to talk about today is why are we here and what is our purpose? Because that's a big question that a lot of people ask is, what is my purpose? Why am I here in this existence? So share with us your perspective.
Well, that perspective is not absolutely mine. That is from what archangels tell me. But from my perspective, what I see is people talk about wanting to fulfill their purpose. Most of them get it wrong. They get it absolutely wrong. They misconstrue purpose with an occupation, and you're going to fulfill your purpose by doing one thing, by being one thing in this world. Human. It has nothing to do with you becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or a basketball player or a police officer. You can fulfill your purpose while doing that, but you're going to fulfill it while being a human being. And our purpose is we are here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because we can, but because we should. And that is in a way that you're going to help someone to do something in a physical way that they can absolutely not do for themselves, or you're helping them to figure it out. Like if you're driving down the street in your car and you see a dog in the middle of the street and you get out of your car and you run over to the dog and you pick the dog up and move the dog out of the street. And then you think to yourself, maybe I will help find its owner. I'll get it to the vet, or maybe I'll take it home myself. I will do something to help this dog because this dog looks lost and scared. I'm going to do something for that dog. That is fulfilling your purpose. Okay. Fulfilling your purpose is not walking around taking selfies all day long or being on camera all day long, telling everybody and showing everybody, oh, look how wonderful I am because I did this and then that's their ego. That's what that is. That's what's going on there. But you're also here to learn lessons, and lessons are there's no good lessons and there are no bad lessons. Everything in your life is a lesson. I have this little towel that I clean my glasses with. If I pick this up and I put it down, that's a lesson. If I pick it up and drop it, well, how do I learn that lesson? Well, next time I'll grip it a little bit tighter so that way I won't drop it the next time, because it's very simple, but people just don't see it as being simple because they're not very good at learning lessons. If you walk through the doorway and there's a nail on the floor and you trip over the nail, how do you learn that lesson? Well, you go get a hammer and bang that back in, and then you can walk through that door freely. Not everybody does that. People trip 4 or 5 times. They don't learn lessons quick enough in order to get to those places where you will be put to fulfill your purpose. Meeting people, having experiences, being able to help someone just for the sake of helping it. In a sense, like about a month ago, I was at the bank and I was walking out the door and I saw a man coming across the parking lot, and he was with a walker. And I just yelled out to him. I said, hey, buddy, are you coming in here? And he said, yeah, but it's going to take me a while. And I said, okay, I'll wait. Because I knew when I was walking out of that bank, that door is heavy. It's hard to keep open. And he had a walker. He was going to have to prop that door open somehow, hold it open while he got his walker through. And I didn't want that for him. I wanted it to be a little bit easier for him. So I stood there and waited till he got there. And then when he finally got up there, I said, hold on, let me get this for you. And he goes through it. I said, let me get the other one for you. And he goes, oh, okay. So I'm standing, but the people inside the bank opened it up for him. And then he was able to get through. And then I looked at him. I said, all right, do you want me to wait for you now? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you got to come back through this door. It's going to be tough. I could just wait for you. He said, no, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that's fulfilling your purpose. It's the little things in our lives that we can do for each other that is going to get you home and basically get your golden ticket to go home and stay home. Because not everybody does that. We hear about these past lives or past life regression, all that other stuff that's really not important, because what's important is what you do now, not what you did 100 years ago. Because if you finished your life that you were supposed to do on a good note there, you wouldn't be here now. That's why you come back, because we don't fulfill our purpose. It's not about the lessons of why you come back here. It's about fulfilling a purpose. That's what we are here to do. That is why we are here. That's why what our purpose is. We just don't get it done enough because we think that using our ego for everything is going to help us to fulfill that purpose. And that is absolutely not true. We just get stuck on it.
I love that because, a lot of people, whether how they were raised, what their parents thought, a lot of people out there think it's the title that they have, the
Correct.
job that they have, the house
Correct.
that they own, the car
Correct.
that they drive, all those material things that really don't create our purpose or
No.
allow us to be who we're supposed to be. And purpose is very simple. I always tell people, what are you passionate about? What lights you up? What do you love to do? Because your purpose is sitting in that. That's your creative juices. That's what you love to do. That's what you do really well. And you can see that threaded throughout your life if you really pay attention. It's what we're drawn to.
But if you're only doing it for yourself, that is not your purpose.
Yeah, but most of the things that we do that we're passionate about is for other people and to help.
We would hope.
Right?
Yeah,
And
as long as you're
so
helping.
that's really what lights us up, is to be able to do that. So for me, I'm an educator. That's my purpose. That's what I love to do. Now, I've educated throughout my whole entire life. That's what I'm always kind of navigating in and out of naturally, because that's a passion of mine. And so it helps me to understand. Sometimes it's really, really simple. And in some of those instances, it was part of my job. And some of it now is because I'm helping others. But even when it was a job, I was helping others to learn a concept or something. So, and making it a better place.
Yeah, going the extra mile for people. I mean, yeah, you can do that. You can have a job and be a teacher. But as long as you're helping, there may be that one student that just needs a little bit extra help. And even though you may not be getting paid for that, you're helping them. That is what your purpose is, because you're helping them to do something they could absolutely not do for themselves without you.
Yeah. So all of that is really important. So one of your areas to talk about is after the death of the body. What happens next? And so share with us a little bit about what you have gained in talking to your guides and angels, because I'm sure you've gotten information from them.
Yeah, I get information from them every day. It never stops. It never turns off. The way that it happens for everybody is basically your body is going to fall asleep, more or less, and you're going to stand up out of your body. You're going to look down and go, I don't need that anymore. You're going to take a step to the left. You're going to look to the right, and you're going to see a light that turns on for you. That is the light into what we call in going to heaven. That is the portal for you to cross over into the light. Although not everyone does. Not everything does. I'm here to tell everybody, unfortunately, I know they'd like to believe in this, but there is no such thing as a rainbow bridge. Not everything crosses over into heaven. They don't. I see everything. I don't just see people. I see people, dogs, cats, horses, cows, fish, other beings from other places. I see everything, and I don't ever not see spirit throughout my day. Not everything crosses over into that light. You would go into that light, or you would stay here, what we would call earthbound spirit, this low energy realm, by choice. It works that way. No one can keep you from going, nor can they save you a place from going anywhere. You go by your choice. And it is up to you to make that choice. No one else can make it for you. So you're going to decide whether or not you're going to walk into that light or you're not. A lot of reasons that people don't go into that light is because we get taught things here. We are told things here that keep us from going, telling us that you're not good enough, that you are a horrible person, or you're going to go to what people call hell. There is no such place as hell. I see everything. And you also stand up out of your body. You're going to get perfect memories of your entire life here, but you're going to get perfect memories of each and every one of your entire lives. And when you do, you're going to know some of those lives were really hard to get through. And when you look at that light, you may think to yourself, they were all hard before, and I've been here many times. What if I have to come back? And maybe they don't want to. So sometimes they just stay here. But the other ones do cross over into the light, taking that chance, taking that leap of faith of hoping they got it done, got their purpose fulfilled this time, and hopefully they wouldn't have to come back. But a lot of them do still come back because we have to, because we fulfill our purpose throughout our lives, but we don't do it enough as much as God would like us to do. So he knows that he can send us back to give it a shot again. But when you cross over into the light, you let go of your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that other stuff you learned how to have here. And now you become a beautiful, bright, white, loving soul. And you know that, yeah, this life was hard, but you know at that point you have something more to do. You have that purpose to fulfill. And you're okay if you have to come back again. Because why? Because beautiful, bright, white, loving souls like to do good things. They want to come back and give it another shot again, and they're happy to do it. But the ones who get to stay as well are also happy, because as many people that do cross over into heaven, there's that many that don't. But there are many, many, many other souls who get to cross over and go home and stay home. The goal is to go home and stay home. The goal is not to come back here over and over and over again. The goal is to get that purpose finished so they can go home and stay home. But where you go from here after you leave your body is your choice. It is no one else's choice. No one else can take that choice away from you, because God gave us all free will. Because in the bigger picture things, God is not going to punish you for something that he gave us. He gave you free will so that you, Violet, can make your choices for you, but I can make my choices for me. And what's good for you is good for you, may not be good for me. And what's good for me may not be good for you. So he gave you an ability to make choices that are going to suit you as best. But he's not going to punish you for that. There is no punishment. But again, some of these spirits they know that if they cross over, there's a possibility they might have to come back again. But so a lot of them just don't. A lot of them will just stay here as earthbound spirits. But it is your choice. It's everyone's choice of where they go. No one can keep you from going.
I believe that as well. Of course, I will choose to come back because I'm already ready to come back so I can have peanut butter again. I love the fact that in the physical we get to experience different experiences of touching and smelling and tasting, and I've been here many times because I like coming here. So there's something within me that always draws me back. I love the interactions here. So,
well, this time around you were able to have peanut butter, but you've been here so many times there wasn't always peanut butter.
Yeah. And, now my body doesn't like peanut butter as I've gotten older. So I'm ready to come back so I can eat it out of the jar again like I did as a kid. I love peanut butter. So I always tell people I'm coming back for peanut butter. Watch, I'm going to come back so I can have peanut butter again. But talk to us a little bit of what is truly important. What is truly important in our lives? What should we understand that is really important for all of us to know?
That we're all here to help each other, that we're all here to do this together, that we are not meant to point rockets at each other or have so much confrontation with each other. It's not about being in competition with each other. It's about working together and getting it done the correct way. Because in all actuality, no one rises up to a higher ascension. You don't go ascend to a higher consciousness as an individual. No one does. We do that as a race of people, and we're just not doing it right now. We are here to do this together. If we weren't meant to do this together, there wouldn't be 7.5 billion of us. There would only be one. We are here to take care of each other. We are here to share everything. There isn't supposed to be a money system. Taking care of each other in a way where I could be a farmer and you could be a doctor and you could heal my wounds and I would give you some food that would last you for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And then we would call it a day. That's what we are here to do. But we are just not doing that. We are not on the path of that. Hopefully nowadays I see that a lot more people are waking up to this world and seeing that what is around them is not absolutely the truth. And they are seeing that we could change this place, but we have to do this all together. We can't do it just one by one. And that's why I continuously go out and put this message out there so that people will know that we have to stop doing what we're doing as far as being horrible to each other and being mean to each other and treating each other with disrespect. We have to learn to let that stuff go. We have to learn to start working together and get this place together because we all live on the same planet. No one's going anywhere anytime soon, so we better start to get along with each other before we annihilate each other. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But we gotta take the steps to do that. We have to stop segregating ourselves from ourselves. That is just absolutely not working. We are all human beings. We are all souls. No, you don't have a soul. You are a soul. But your soul is within this physical body in order to learn these physical lessons in this physical world, learning the human experience. And that human experience has been very detrimental to all of our lives over the thousands and millions of years that we have been here. We've been here that long. What is taking so long? Why don't we just stand up for us? We don't need to be choosing sides all the time. The only side we need to be choosing is one side, us. We need to start taking care of each other because we're just not doing a very good job.
So how do we listen, trust, and follow where we need to go? So what does that look like?
You're listening, trusting, and following through. That is you listening to your soul. That is you listening to those gut feelings, that what we call intuition, but is absolutely your soul telling you, giving you guidance. But unfortunately, we have lived in a world where the world teaches you not to have any trust or faith within yourself to do anything. They want you to believe that they can save you from everything. You need to rely on them for everything. You know who them are or they are. They tell you one day to eat peanut butter. They tell you the next day not to eat peanut butter. Well, you know what they need to do? They need to shut the heck up and we need to stop listening. That's what we need to do because they are not in control of us. We can be in control of ourselves. We can get ourselves on the correct path, but we have to learn to listen to what our soul is telling us, trust the information that where it's coming from, and then follow through because the information that is coming to your soul is coming from a higher place. We have what we would call God, but we also have spiritual guides who are here to help us. And those spiritual guides are connecting with our soul, trying to get us to do things in our lives that it wants us to do. In that same way, how do you recognize that? Well, it's like the analogy I like to use is when you're driving in your car and you see a car in front of you and you think to yourself, I want to pass that car. And then you get a gut feeling that says, don't pass the car. Well, then don't pass the car. It is trying to keep you from getting into something that you are not meant to get into, possibly an accident. So here, how do you know when people don't listen to that? Because you, Violet, are in the hospital talking to a friend and they say to you, you know what, Violet, I saw that car in front of me and I just knew. They said 3 words, I just knew. That means their soul was talking to them and they didn't listen to it. They used their ego to turn that around and say, oh, I can do it anyway. And then look what happened. That's what I mean by listen, trust, and follow through. We have to learn to listen to what it's telling us, trust that what it is telling us is for our best interest, because they are looking out for our best interest, and then follow through with everything that it is telling us to do. I do that every single day. I have medications that I take, but even though I'm communicating with archangels and not just in a sense where I have to sit and go and wait for them to tell me that, I don't have to do any of that. They physically touch me on my face. When I get a yes, it feels like blood dripping across my face, and when I get no, it feels like a tear running down the side of my face. And that happens through every day throughout my entire day, all day long. I get touched by them. Um, it never stops. It never turns off. It never goes away. Even at the moment, I get once in a while, I'll get a new touch come in, and then I ask them, "Is that a new one?" And they, yeah, and then I hear a name inside my head. Even when I wrote my book, it was I think I had 16 of them, and within the past 3 years, it's grown up to now I have 89. I get 89 different touches on my face by 89 different archangels. They are not men with wings and shields and swords by any means. They do not look like that at all. No one gets their wings because when you go to heaven, there's no wind beneath your wings in order for you to fly. So why would you need wings? You don't. You may have had wings in your previous incarnation, but that's the only reason you would have them. Angels do not have wings. Most of them don't even look like men. Okay, but they touch me on my face for yes and no answers. So for me, when I wake up in the morning and I have to take my medication, I will look at my pill bottle and I get touched no. You know what I do? I put it down. I don't take the pill because they're telling me not to take it. If they tell me yes, then I take it. That's what I do. But I listen, trust, and follow through with everything they tell me to do. Even when I'm riding my motorcycle, I see them around me. I see what looks like little petals of light around me. And I'll be riding down the road and I'll say to myself, I got to take this right hand turn. No. You don't want me to take this right hand turn? No. Do you want me to take the next right hand turn after that? Yes. Okay. That's what I do. You know what I don't do? I don't sit around and go, oh, I wonder why they didn't want me to do that. They're looking out for my best interest. It's coming from a perfect place. So why wouldn't they be? So if they're looking out for my best interest, then I need to trust that information. I need to follow through with what they're telling me to do. I'm not going to double back and go, oh, well, you told me not to go there. No, no, that's what we do. That's what we have a problem with. We have a problem with that throughout our lives because this is what society wants you to do. They want you to question every little thing, every little detail. And what are you doing when you're doing that? You're wasting time. That's what you're doing. If they give you an answer, because they give us answers all day long, when you wake up in the morning and you decide, oh, I need to go to the mall today, where do you think that's coming from? Because it ain't coming from you. It's coming from them. But you have to learn to listen, trust, and follow through with what they're telling you to do and then do it because they're trying to get you to a place that's going to be meant for you to do. But if you talk yourself out of it, here's what you're doing every single time you talk yourself out of something. You're basically telling God, I ain't got time for you today. And why would you do that? Why would anybody do that? We need to stop listening to the outside sources and start listening to that internal compass that we have inside us. Listen, trust, and follow through with what it's telling us to do, and it'll put you on the correct path. Because if you don't stay on that correct path, you'll be on the incorrect path. And you stay on the incorrect path, and you'll come back again. It's not important for us to keep coming back again, other than to learn those lessons and fulfill the purpose. Believe me, when you get home, if you get to stay home, you're not going to want to come back again because you have been here, Violet. Let me ask quick. You've been here 28 times. That's how many lifetimes you've been. 28 lifetimes, meaning you've had 27 other sets of moms and dads, brothers and sisters, dogs and cats, and 27 other astrological signs that really don't mean too much. Why? Because your body's born. It's not born under stars. It's just born. Because if you're born under a planet, on a planet, you're born under stars. But your soul was created. Your soul has nothing to do with physical stars, okay? So don't let that little newspaper article define what your day is going to be like. Define it by you and your decisions, by making correct choices, good choices that are going to work for you. That's what you do. You listen, trust, and follow through with what we call our heart or your soul or your intuition. That's what you listen to. Everything else, if you need a little advice, great. But it has to work for you because there's no mistakes, there's no right and wrong, and there's no epic failures. There's only what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, quit doing it and do what does work for you. But it's all about listening, trusting, and following through with what they're trying to tell you to do.
So, Daniel, if somebody wanted to connect with you, share with us some of the ways that they can connect or reach out or work with you directly.
If they want to do that, they can find me at spiritmediumdaniel.com. It's one long word, spiritmediumdaniel.com. That's if they want to get a reading with me. If they want to read my book, they can go on Amazon and put in the search bar, Daniel Jackson, A New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. If they wanted to watch my show, I have a show called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. It is now on newrealitytv.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to chat with me. It's been very awesome being able to hear some of your perspectives. So thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And those listening, thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll like, follow us, and comment on the channels that you like listening or watching to. We hope to see you very soon, and I hope you have a sacred and magical day.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.